LOP in the building. My life been a movie, I should've filmed it. Nicely with the pen game. Pops taught me the spit game. Get your cameras ready, we heavy catch when I'm in frame. Produk, opinionated, but I'm coming through smooth with it. I be kicking facts, you could Google it. Run a block to the booth, hear the truth, just another lane lock. I'm a Crown Heights legend, still repping the same block. Whoa.
You are now listening to the Life of Produk podcast.
Rocking out, got the big homie J Rob in the building with me from BDD Entertainment. What's good, brother?
What's going on with you, man?
You already know, man. I'm happy. I have you here. This is a special show because this is the second episode where I've actually interviewed somebody.
That's what's up.
Everybody front on me. Nobody want to come through, dog. I don't know what it is.
You know I'm always there.
I know. Is my office dirty? What's going on?
Let's see. No, you good. You good.
Bad. Yo, you know what's crazy? I've known you for a while, and you've been doing like really big things. I feel like on the independent side of everything, you've been like, you kind of skipped the line. Like you kind of been ahead of everybody.
Appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? No, real talk, right? Because I remember when I first met you,
right? You
had an FM radio show in Charlotte on WGIV. That was big on 104 was it?
103.3. That's
right. It was you and the boy Ishmael, man. That was kind of big. How did you get the opportunity?
Actually, what it was, I used to do Facebook interviews.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I interviewed the homie K Fox, who was a host of a radio show up here. So no, what it was, I paid him, you know, to get up on his airwaves.
Yeah.
And after I did my interview, I flipped the script and asked him if I could interview him.
Nice.
And
so you kind of finessed it, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah. And from there, he was like, "Yo, you need a show."
Yeah.
Took off from there.
And it took off from. What was the experience like? Because you know what, like interviewing people on online radio, podcasting, or Facebook interviews, YouTube interviews, that's like preparing you for like FM radio. You know what I'm saying? So transitioning from like the Facebook interviews and things like that, was it a hard transition, or was you able to just jump straight into it?
I jumped straight into it, but it was kind of intimidating.
Oh, okay.
Just because I'm all over Charlotte.
Yeah.
So first interview, bro, my mouth felt like I was smoking a bag of weed.
Wow.
I was kind of nervous.
Yeah.
Because going from Facebook and YouTube to being on FM radio was crazy with no training was crazy. But
that's a big thing, man. I commend you for that because a lot of people. What official training can you get for that other than school communications and things like that? And some of those type of trainings, we don't really have access to that, and we don't always have access to the people that's in that. So it's kind of one of the things you got to just jump in and test the waters. Like you got to learn how to swim.
Exactly.
Either you're gonna swim or drown, brother. You know what I'm saying? Some people ain't really built for it, man. And I commend y'all. I remember coming there and I walked in. I was like, yo, this is official right here, man. Like, was there any time when you kind of felt discouraged, like during the middle of that?
No, actually, it was like I'm the type of dude that I like to grow.
Okay.
So from the first day till my last day, it was just steps.
Yeah.
Because I can remember my first day, being from up top, I used to say, yeah, I mean. You know what I mean?
It was crazy, right?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so I started listening to my diction, and then I started changing with the shows.
But that's great because a lot of people are not going to really be able to grasp that in Charlotte. Charlotte is a great city, but it's a southern city, and coming from up north, it's like you go from saying yeah I mean to finna. You know what I'm saying? So I've actually had to do that before too, like going down south. I had to slow down how I talk. I had to change my diction, and you know how it is when you're a black dude, when you're a big black dude. You kind of have to go to.
You're a big black.
Well, I'm a big black.
I'm a big black.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I kind of got you, but you kind of have to change your diction to make people feel comfortable.
Right.
And you know what? I still have a problem with that because I feel like society shouldn't look at me as a threat and things like that. Did you ever feel like being in the radio industry, being a new guy but progressing so fast, so fast? Anybody ever fronted on you? Like you ever felt like they kind of discriminated on you a little bit?
No, but I got love and hate from the station at the same time.
Okay.
Like other shows, because my shows, my show had a different concept than all the rest of them. I had game shows on there.
Yeah.
You remember? I had game shows on there, and I had segues where the music we just played was that artist music.
Yeah.
So it was something that they had never done before. So I got love and I got hate at the same time. So
that love and hate is real. When it's simultaneous, it's real, man. Because I receive love and I receive hate at the same time. Exactly. And sometimes it's kind of hard to grasp it. It's like, yo, but like you was just rocking with me yesterday.
Exactly.
You know, but it's one of those things I've learned that shows that you're doing something right. That shows you're progressing, and that also shows not everybody's able to keep up with the wave that you're riding when you're doing that. So when you guys did that, right? And I remember you kind of segued into TV after that. What was the transition from radio to TV? Because you know the camera picks up everything.
Oh yeah, that's why I held my stomach in the
you know, I've done that before. I've been on video sets. You know, it's what it is. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got to look right when they action. You know,
exactly.
But was it a hard transition?
Actually, it wasn't
easy.
It was for me. It was easy.
Okay.
Because I like interviewing people.
Yeah. So
even though it was on TV, I still had the mindset of the radio.
Yeah.
Thus, it was like just a walk in the park. You know? I mean, like you said, the camera picks up everything, but I was so focused on making sure that the guest was comfortable and making them feel. Once you make somebody feel comfortable, you're in your comfort zone. It's like a walk in the park.
And that's absolute truth. And for me, before, when I first started the podcasting, I was kind of going in, you know what I mean, subject matter was a little wild, but I said, you know what, now that I'm going to be interviewing people, I kind of have to, I didn't want to change the narrative that much, but I kind of had to make them feel, like you said, make them feel comfortable, because they might not be want to talk about what I'm talking about. I might have listened, I might have woke up and had an off day and said, you know what, I'm going in on everybody. Society's about to get it, but they're not on it that day. They came in there all flowery and happy. They just want to, you know, talk about life, and I want to talk about
stuff.
I want to talk about the realism. They didn't want that. They drank their coffee the day they go. You know what I'm saying? But I thought the TV one, I thought it was dope, man.
Appreciate that.
No problem, man. Wait, for any like upcoming person that wants to be a brand and an entity, any up and coming man, woman, alien, it doesn't matter, right? What advice would you give them? And say if a person wants to start radio right now, what would be like the best core advice you could give them?
FM radio?
FM radio, yeah.
Right. If they're not going to school, what you have to do is like kind of what you're doing.
Okay.
You know, start with your podcast and stuff like that, so that way you can get comfortable with it. But it's a lot more. I mean,
it's like a training thing.
Yeah. That way you're doing on-hand training. Yeah. It depends on how complicated your podcast is. Yeah. Because you got to get used to people running the board. Yeah. So
that's real. I've seen it. It's real, man. Even with online radio, I did an online radio show when I had a magazine. Me and my cousin was in the Bronx. I think it was the DSN network, and they had the girl. She was engineering, and I'm looking the whole time like, yo, this is incredible.
Exactly.
I don't got the patience for it. Let me talk. I'd rather just, you know.
So with my advice would be to get all aspects of it.
Yes.
You know, in front of the mic and behind the mic. Yes. The more you know, the bigger you'll grow. You know, and you won't have to rely on other people to help you out.
Yo, and that's funny that you said that, relying on other people, because I've seen people, even myself, I've been in a position where I needed this to get done, and Joe Schmo didn't want to do it. Right. They dragging me behind, and it just, I've had situations push back like a whole 2-3 months. Exactly. Because one person didn't want to do it, and had I been able to do it myself, it would have got done when it needed to get done. How important is it, right? You know, how many times do you see people come to you and they're like, yo, J-Rob, and I know you've experienced this. They'll say, yo, you doing this? I got this great idea. How important is it for people to understand no great idea can formulate without money?
Exactly, man.
and I know you know this from experience, because it take money to make money. It take money to start a business. Money is like the key ingredient in a lot of stuff, man.
A lot of people don't understand. I used to say this when I was on FM radio, and I say this to everybody. To be successful, you have to invest in yourself. Yes. You cannot expect other people to just throw money your way. That's the latter part. That's standing near the finished product. Yes. But while you're building your brand, you have to. If you have an ideal, you have to put that money behind that ideal. It's just like a stove, you know, old-fashioned. I'm an old dude, so an old-fashioned wood stove. To get the fire burning, you got to throw the wood in.
Exactly, and that's a great analogy that you just made. I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. I feel like a lot of young black men don't get that. And sometimes, like, you know, I try to be the nice guy, but then sometimes you gotta give it to them straight. Yeah. Listen, I could come up with $1 million idea tomorrow, right? If I don't got the money for a month later, somebody else just might think that same thing.
Exactly.
And capital is a very important factor, especially when you're independent, because nobody's gonna put the money into you unless you just have something very golden about you,
Exactly.
and that person has the money to take the chance. Or it might not be about them taking the chance. It's about they're gonna screw you over in the long run, and they're gonna own you. And you know what I'm saying? Nobody listens. Slavery is over. Nobody wants to be owned anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry.
Nah, you good, man. But creativity is a big thing. So, what core advice would you give to a person on the flip side of that, wanting to get into TV, or just media in general on the film side?
As far as like interviewing on television,
Any interviewing, whether it's TV,
educate
YouTube.
yourself. Educate
Perfect.
yourself. You
Perfect.
have to know how to with TV. With TV is different, you know, and in film, you know, I do
Yes.
film. You have to know where to stand, where the shot is at, where not to go out of frame, how to stay in frame, how not to directly look at the camera. Because you know, if you look at, people don't realize when you watch people on television, they're not actually looking at the camera.
They're not.
So it's little forms that you have to learn. So it's just studying. They have classes M classes and stuff like that on online that you can. You know, I just did it, just threw myself in there.
But it's really good to do that, because you're gonna take something away from it. And you'll take something away from it. You might take 10 things away from it, but those 10 things is what's going to take your project to 10 levels higher.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people down the learning factor of everything. Even if you're self-teaching yourself, you're just reading, you're just like going on YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and those are, because me, I'm gonna learn by doing, and I'm gonna learn by visual person. So reading it, that's one thing, but I like to actually see
hands-on.
Hands-on, or see it, that way I can mimic it.
Exactly.
And a lot of people, they just want it down there. I think in the black community, we take pride in achieving without education.
I think,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the generation, this generation and the generation before that, the younger generation, they see the end product. They see their watches.
That's a nice watch, by the way, bro. I ain't gonna steal it from you.
I stole it. Don't worry about it. They see the final product and they think they can just.
My bad.
They think they can just step from 1 to 10. They don't know about putting in that work. Like people like hip hop artists.
Yeah, that's perfect example.
They see somebody like the Baby, but they see where he's at now, but they don't see the shows that he did when it might have been 10 people in there.
They don't see none of that.
You know, so they just focus on the end product instead of polishing themselves to get to that
big
end product.
facts. They don't see when he was running around Charlotte in a pull-up.
Exactly.
They don't see that. That was I wish I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to the Baby. I think he's doing great. But when he first came out, he was Baby Jesus 704, and I was like, what is? But I knew it was gonna catch on, because the fact of that visual, these visuals nowadays are going very far.
Yeah.
And they also, you know what they also don't see? The Baby did an interview and he said how he went broke pursuing music. People don't see that. They just see the platinum plaques and they see the videos all over Raw Star and MTV. They didn't see the grind. And let me ask you this question, in your opinion, why do you think so many people try to skip the grind section of their journey? A lot of people try to skip that and they try to go straight to the win. But they don't never want to, they try to cheat code it.
It's simple. People don't like doing stuff that's hard.
Exactly. Perfect
you know,
wording.
If it's hard, everybody. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So when it's hard, it eliminates a lot of people.
It does.
They might not have the love for it. They just see the dollar signs. So when you're chasing something like that, or if you're aspiring to be like that, first you have to have the drive.
Yes.
You have to be self-motivated. And you have to have the wherewithal to stay with it, because most people quit right before they get ready to blow up.
They really do. And did you ever see that meme? It shows two levels, and a person is in a mine, and the one on the top, he's mining, and the other one is like giving up. And the other one that's about to give up, he's like, I can't do it anymore. But the diamond is right on the next side of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And some people, they don't, on the outside, we could look at it, but on the inside, you don't always look at it. Because the inside is dusty. Imagine you're in that mine, it's right on the next side of it, but it's so dusty. All you see is dirt, grime.
Exactly.
You can barely look around. You can't breathe and things like that. And from the inside looking in, we're quick to get discouraged and want to give up and we want to quit because the grind is very lonely. It's very, in my opinion,
it's hard. It's hard being an independent entity.
It is.
Not just saying rapper, artist, or television show, radio personality, podcast. It's hard because
it is.
9 times out of 10, you're doing it by yourself.
Yes.
And then if you do have someone helping you, you'll end up eventually finding out they don't have the same drive that you have.
Exactly.
And
that's happened to me.
Yeah, and you can't knock them because I tell people, your dream may not be my dream.
Absolutely.
So how can I get mad at you if you've ran with me the first 50 yards, but then you stop when I got to keep going to the 100?
And that's I like the way you put that, and people don't understand. I've seen people fall out before, right?
Yeah.
After they bring their family and they bring their friends in, and they would say, "Oh, they not on my level. They not pushing as hard as me." They're not pushing as hard as you because that is your dream.
Exactly.
They might have came in to assist you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to, in my opinion, if you're that independent entity and you brought this person and you brought these people in, you have to gracefully know when to let them bow out.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You have to give them a break sometimes because ultimately, you might still have a job, you might have a family, and all of that. They might have that, and they can't. It's kind of unfair.
It is
to ask them to push all of that aside for your dream. It's kind of selfish, you know.
But you know what? I had to learn that because I used to, I've been doing this for a minute, and I used to get mad, man. I mean, it's like
I got mad too. Yeah.
It's like, yo, you say you're gonna do X, Y, and Z,
they don't do it, man.
But then you have to fall back and realize that's your dream.
Yes.
Their support, they may be supporting you, but that's not their passion and not your dream.
Nah.
So that's when you got to man up and say, all right, man, I understand. Like right now, if somebody say, I got you, I'll help you, I'm going to take that help, and then when they bail out, I appreciate what you're doing
Exactly.
for. Instead of being like, man, how you going to stop that? No, do you, bro, and I'm going to support you 110% of what you're doing.
You ever on the flip side of that, you ever had like somebody help you or support you, and when it came time for you to help and support them, they wanted like triple? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, wait a minute. Like, you didn't do all that for me. Yeah. And I got a problem with that too. I've done it when I've had people like, all right, I'll do this for you. And then they go like the extra mile. Like, how you give them an inch, they take a mile. Yeah. They trying to take 5 miles from you. And it's like, wait a minute. A month ago. So to the people listening, right? Don't do that. Don't be that friend. Do not be that friend that you did a couple things for this person, now you want 20 things. Because it's I've seen friendships.
That's not really a friend though.
It's really not. That's an opportunity. It's like you're taking. And I hate people like that. You know what I mean? It's when you see people do stuff like that, me personally, I say, you know what? I gradually fall back. Gradually back away because it's not fair. And it's very distasteful to be that type of person, you know what I'm saying? But we ain't gonna listen. Listen, the people that have done that.
I see your veins.
You see the Brooklyn coming out with me, right? Word. So okay, I want to before I know. Okay, you moved. When you came from Philly to North Carolina, right? And well, let's backtrack a little bit. When you were growing up in Philly, right? Philly's hard, you know what I'm saying? Philly, we got family.
Saying somebody saying that from Brooklyn.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Philly's hard. Philly kind of hard.
Like you from ain't hard.
Yeah, it's kind of bad. Like, so I got family in North Philly. I didn't know. I didn't know for years that people. I think there was a thing where somebody told me where people from different sides of Philly didn't like each other.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, that's everywhere.
Well, I guess
it's like Brooklyn, Harlem.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know what I mean?
Names like that is, Southwest, West.
Yeah.
But that's all the childish things that we do growing up.
Yes.
Because Philly is not big in New York, but it's big. So a lot of people never leave West Philly.
That's
a lot
crazy.
of people never leave North Philly because
Wow.
you got everything there. Like me, when I lived in West Philly, we had the strip. All the vendors.
Yeah.
So I never went to the store. I never went to the mall.
You just had it right there. Just
walked
right
up
there.
the street.
Exactly.
Got my I mean, everything was plated.
Yeah, exactly.
For y'all don't know what that means. That means fake. But I had all the food. This when FUBU was out, I had everything that was FUBU.
FUBU was big, man. FUBU was big, man.
That's the way it is. I left. I would leave West Philly to go out and party and all that. But I was that type. But I know a lot of people never left, as y'all would say, that borough.
But that's crazy because I've grown up in Brooklyn. I knew people that didn't go to the Bronx. They didn't go to Long Island. They didn't go places like, I knew dudes from Bushwick that never went to Flatbush. And it was like it's across town, like how you know what I mean? But I got, I think the mentality factor, we become so complacent. And you know what? I feel like this is a conversation that needs to be had on a full scale. But in the short run, I feel like when you look at these black neighborhoods and these lower class neighborhoods, I feel like there was a plan. There was some type of strategy where everything was put there to keep us there.
That's what it was about.
You know what I'm saying?
Back when it first started, that's what it was about. That's why coming where we was from, all the high rises.
Yes.
You put all the minorities in these high rises, then you know where they're at.
Yep.
You got control of them. You put the little stores with the bad food in there.
Controlled everything.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we can talk about this all day.
I was a little American ready for that conversation.
I mean, coming from up north and even down south, the only difference between up north and down south is we were in the high rises and in our parts of the hood. Where we wouldn't go outside of the hood. Where they down south, they don't cross certain train tracks.
That's
their thing. You know what I'm saying?
I noticed that, man.
But it's the same mentality. Even in down here in the south, they got stores and all, but they don't have the greatest groceries.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You have to go up the Longview, wherever that's called, Viewmont.
You know what I
mean? To get to the Publix.
The Harris Teeters and all that, right?
So, it's still separation. It's still separation, bro.
Yo, it was crazy because I remember years ago, when I moved out here the first time, I was here for like 8 years, and I would go to like Walmart and stuff like that. I was cheap, you know what I mean? I was a college student, I ain't have it like that. Then I went across town to like the Harris Teeters, and I'm looking around like, damn, everything's expensive. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like the only black dude in there, so I'm like, all right, this is not in my budget. Let me get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But that's absolutely true. And I remember my pops telling me years ago, he was like, yo, if you ever go down south, he was like, you're gonna see. So you see how we live in Brooklyn. You got all these people from different backgrounds and stuff. We all over here, boom, boom, boom. He said when you go down south, you cross the train tracks, you're on the south side of town now. You cross on this side, you're on the north side of town. So you're gonna see the whole demographic change. And I didn't understand that until I came out here the first time, and I was looking like, yo, he was right, because when you cross the train, it's a little different.
It's a little different,
And on the flip side, not just from the north and south side of train tracks, when you're on the east and west side, it's a little different.
It's a little different.
You notice things, you start just seeing shit. Like if you're over in this city, if you're on the southeast side of town, it looks this way. You're on the southwest side of town, it looks that way. You're on the northwest side of town, it looks a little different.
Got it set up, and then you know where they're at.
Exactly, dog. It's crazy, right? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Can I talk back to track a little bit?
Yeah.
Talking about the different nationalities. It's funny, when I came back down here, when I first was living down here, wasn't no Spanish people. But up north, being from up north,
you see
used to Puerto Ricans and Haitians and all that. But down here, even to this day, what's funny to me, if these, not being racist or anything, but if these Caucasians see a Spanish person, they clump them in as being Mexican right out the gate.
That's funny that you said that, because that's the absolute truth. And then, they come from, you got Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, you got Salvadorians, everything, and then they're looking at them, oh, the Mexicans, and it's like, no, they're not. You know what I'm saying?
Let me give these Southern Caucasians a hint. You better not call a Puerto Rican a Mexican.
Ooh, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, don't do it. Oh, I see. I've seen arguments.
I
was in Walmart one day, and a guy bumped a guy, and he was like, it was like an older white guy, and he went off on a dude. He's like, them damn Mexicans, and the dude was like, I'm not. I was like, yo, this is getting heated, yo. But I watched the whole thing because it was getting kind of, you know what I'm saying. But you know what, too? I really hope that in areas like this, the ignorance factors leave. I hope that the ignorance factors die out. And I have a feeling that areas like this, since they're becoming so populated, but there's a lot of Hispanics out here, there's also a lot of Asians out here. And the crazy thing is, people out here, you know what it is too? You can't, not to play devil's advocate, but you kind of can't blame the people from areas like this.
That's all they know.
Yeah, that's all they know. They didn't really know the difference, because out here, I would see a lot of Asians, and they will automatically assume they were Chinese, or they were Hmong, and they came from all these different areas. And it's like, you have to be willing to accept differentiation. You have to be open-hearted, not just open-minded. You got to be open-hearted, and that's something we don't talk about. Mentally, you could try to get there, but if your heart is not there, you're not going to get there. You got to be open-hearted and accept change. Because people in areas like this, you see how you come from Philly, you've seen things on a broad scale. People here have been secluded from everything. It's like the door's been closed. So all they know is TV and CNN. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, though. If people like like I said, when I was coming up, I lived half my life in Philly, half my life in Lenore. Coming up in Lenore, it was only black and white.
Yes.
And I had a white girlfriend, and she said, "You better not call my house. My dad will kill us." But that was back in the early '80s. But nowadays, you can see the change.
Yes, you do.
I played, semi-pro football, and the football team is majority black, like 95% black.
Yeah.
Me and 2 other people, we the only ones that have black women.
Wow.
So it's changing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dead serious.
That's crazy.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Because my grandfather was half white, so I love it. But at the same time, it was weird. Like, yo, this football team was all black and
all the But I've always wondered, man. Like I don't want to like. But this is a question I've always wondered. I've always seen football players with like Caucasian women, and it's like, I'm not knocking it. I don't care, man. I think all women are beautiful.
I just
answer
your question.
Yeah, okay, answer that, because I know.
It's the credit score, dog.
Bang, trying to hit that 800.
It's the credit score, bro.
Trying to get that
credit. You gotta get that car in that house.
Yo, that's funny, man. But you know what though? I think it's the new norm. To me, it's the new norm, and I think that, you know what though? I'm happy to see it, because it's pissing off the upper quote unquote that echelon. If it's gonna piss them off, I'm all for it.
But also too though, going back, if you go back in history though, the reason that they grabbed the Caucasian women, back then it was a status thing.
Yeah,
it was status
right.
quo. Look, I've made it. I have a white lady on my arm.
I'm a professional athlete. She's this way here, right? So why do you think in 2020 now that's like a big thing?
I think now it's more so because it's more integrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not to sound racist, because like I said, my grandfather is black.
Yeah.
But I like it, but I don't like it. Especially like, okay, on our level, it's cool. And if you grew up with that person, it's cool.
Yeah.
But I think that these young black athletes, they're turning their back on these young black females.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? How are you going to sit there and publicly knock black women when your moms and your sisters and your grandma's black?
Yeah. You know what issue I have with it? My issue was not the fact that they're dating a white woman. I think interracial love is great, but don't knock your own people while doing it. Like that's my only issue. Like if you're gonna date, go ahead, date. I don't care if she's an alien, though. You want to date a Martian, but just don't knock your own people while doing it, because it's kind of like kicking us while we're down. And I'm not saying we're down, quote unquote, but it's like, I get out of here. I don't need y'all no more.
And that's pretty much what I'm saying, because you'll see these guys and they'll bash their children. I don't like saying baby mama, their children's mother. See them get on TV bashing their children's mom. But no, the person that you lay with, you gotta know him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you go to the club and you this millionaire and you grab this chick that's twerking, you know what I mean, for everybody, and grabbing the hundreds off the drawer, when you marry her, what you think she's gonna be like? Or you have a child by her?
You know.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I had a cousin one day. Can I curse on her?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I had a cousin. I had a young cousin. She's pretty as heck. I seen her ranting on Facebook talking about, I'm tired of these no good niggas. I told her, I said, well, why don't you try changing where you getting these no good niggas from?
Exactly.
You know, how about going to a library? Now, you know, I'm a geek. I might not look like. How about going to the library? You know what I'm saying? Find a dude at the library. If you keep finding if you get the same result with the same niggas, it's because you choosing the same type of dude.
And this is absolutely true.
You chase a drug dealer that got a Maserati but living in the projects.
There you go.
You know he's slinging, and if he's slinging, the only thing he cares about is his money. So you think he's gonna care about you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
My bad, I had to rant.
Now, yo, listen, sometimes you gotta rant, man, to make people feel where you're coming from, man. You know what I think, too, to touch back on the whole interracial relationship thing, I think a lot of these so you take a young black dude, he graduated high school at 18, he go to college. NFL minimum is 2 years in college. You gotta play college ball 2 years.
Right.
So by 1920, by his junior, junior year, say he meets a white girl or whatever, say if he was from Louisiana, say if he's from New Orleans, he's from the projects, third ward, right? All he know is like arguing, people fighting every day. His pops wasn't there, his mother struggled. He meets a white girl from like Illinois or something. She from the Midwest. She comes from a 2-parent home. Father's a doctor.
Established.
In his eyes, this is like, that's winning. In his eyes, it's like, this is, and you know too, I was talking to a dude one time, and we were talking about interracial relations. Two dudes, as a matter of fact, and both of them broke it down from different perspectives. One of them, he said to me, he said, "Yo, so it was him, and Ishmael was talking." It was a good, this is a good conversation, man. Shout out to my boy Ishmael. You know what? I'm gonna get you back in here. We're gonna get Ishmael. I want all three of us to sit down and kick it. So Ishmael was like, because we all had different perspectives. So the dude asked me, he said, "Yo, Keith, what do you think about it?" I said, "I don't give a fuck." I said, I really don't care." I said, "Yo, love is love, love who you love." Ish was like, "Nah, I ain't really with it," you know what I'm saying? But that's his opinion. Right. So the dude told him, he said, so Ish was like, what do you even see in that? And the dude said, "Look," he said, "I'm gonna look at," he said, "You see me," he said, "I come to school we was in college," he said, "I come to school every day in khaki shorts, I wear polo shirts, dog." He said, "I grew up in an all-white neighborhood." He said, "I've only known white women." He's like, "I've never," he's like, "I went to school from elementary school being the only black kid in class." He said, "So what do you think I'm going to gravitate towards?" He said, "Yo, people knock me all the time, but they don't know my upbringing."
That's what I was about to say with college.
Yeah.
If you circle back around, these athletes going to these colleges, you know, if they go to a major university, it's about what, maybe 5 or 10% black students, and most of them are athletes. So all they see is Caucasian women.
Exactly. And then doubling back to the other dude I spoke about, we just, I don't know how the conversation came up, but he said he gravitated more towards white women because he said growing up, black girls laughed at him. He went to school in an all-black school. He said they was ratchet, always wanting to fight. He said, so for him, when he met a white girl, it was different to where it was something he wanted. He said it wasn't necessarily the fact that she was white. He said, he was like, you know, she's beautiful. He said she was just as beautiful as he said his last black girlfriend was dark skin. He said they were both beautiful. He said, but with the white girl, it was the calmness. Right. Now, anybody listening, I'm not trying to big up none of that. I'm just throwing it out there from a conversation I had with a dude. That is it. Don't slide in my DMs talking to me crazy. Somebody's done that already.
Do you think it's comfort zone though?
I think it was a comfort zone.
Because my son, it's funny that you said that. He goes to school out there and he's about, you know, all he sees is Caucasian. I have to jump on him sometimes. We be watching TV. Real talk, listen to this. We be watching TV and he'll say, "Oh, she's beautiful." And remind you, she's beautiful. She got blue eyes and blonde hair. But when it's a beautiful black woman, he don't say nothing. I'll be like, "Dog." You know,
and that's kind of crazy. A comfort zone, and it's also what he's seeing
that's all he sees.
Yeah, so what he sees every day, man. So you know, at the end of the day, I can't knock them. Like, yo, man, if that's what you want to do, I honestly don't care. But doubling back, my only issue is don't knock your own women and forget, because your mother's black, your sister's black, your baby mama might be black, your cousins is black, you know what I'm saying, your grandmother, you know what I'm saying. But I think, you know what too, I also feel like I had a conversation with somebody one day, and she got kind of mad when I said this, right? So right when Trump got in office, when everything started, when the racism started doubling and tripling, like openly started doubling and tripling.
Oh, you talking about Trump? We can get it.
Listen, I'm gonna bash this man every chance I get, right? You know, he kind of took things to a whole higher fuckery level, right?
He showed people. He let those. I hate to interject. He let those rednecks, racist people show their true colors for the first time, and you seen some of your Caucasian friends. They came out of the closet.
Yes, the floodgates open, man.
Yes, God.
The floodgates open. So I was talking to a good friend of mine a few years ago, and she kind of didn't like what I said, but I said, look, when we was growing up, they kept saying, we believe the children of the future, right? I said, we're the present now. We fucked up. We did not fix. We kind of fixed a few things, but it's kind of, we only scratched it. Yeah. We didn't fully, like, you know what I mean? So I told her, I said, if you look at right now, this was in 2018. Right, like 2 years after Trump got in office. I said, if you look at right now, I said, there's so many interracial relationships. I said, you have a lot of black men, upper echelon black men that are with white women. They're making children now. They're having, like, you know, mixed kids and stuff. I said, if you really want to talk about who's the future of America, in my opinion, I felt like one of the main components as far as the future of children in America were those mixed children. And she didn't like when I said that. She said, no, the black children are. I said, no, I'm not saying the black children are. I'm not saying the white children are. I said the mixed children are a key component, in my opinion. I said, because now they're able to integrate both sides and play both lines. I said they're able to get into places that will never infiltrate. I said you take a young black boy, black father, white mother. Say if he's educated, he becomes a lawyer, politician, whatever. He gets into these companies. He's in these board meetings.
Right.
He's able to implement company rules to change segregation, to allow black men to get higher positions. He's able to implement laws in that city or state, Providence he's living at, that's going to change laws. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
because
right.
they're all, if you think about it on a large scale, there's local laws that we don't even know about in certain places. Look at the law in North Carolina. Listen, I got an issue with a lot of dumb shit that happens.
You gonna talk about the ticket?
Nah, you know what, the ticket, I was gonna, but I'm not gonna go off. I'm gonna just pay the ticket. But there's a law in North Carolina. They have like a no shacking rule in North Carolina, don't they? That says that two people, if a man and a woman is not married, they can't live together.
Right.
There's like a no shacking law. It's stupid laws like that. Now I know that's not a law that's a big thing. Nobody even follows it.
Right.
But it's stuff like that when you go to these local cities and states where we don't even we're here. We don't even know what the local laws are in Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So if these kids that all come from mixed families, from mixed cultures, they might spend time with their father's black side. They might spend time with their mother's black side. There might be things in white culture we don't even understand. Like and these kids, I know. Yeah, exactly. Yo, listen, man. My credit score is, you know what I'm saying?
Like going off of what you said, I was just explaining to somebody else the other day. Most white kids, they're taught credit.
Yes.
Most black kids, but for most black kids, because our parents are out there grinding, they don't have time to teach us about credit.
They don't.
So we're behind the 8 ball right out the gate.
Absolutely.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, but when you said that, I'm like,
I'm glad you brought that up, man. And yo, remember the joke back in the day? By the time you turn 18, your credit gonna be bad.
Exactly.
Because you got bills. You know what I'm saying? But yo, it's fun. I remember. I have homeboys who had the cable bill in there. We were like 13 years old. So or remember back in the day, you have a deaf family member and the cable bill come for the dad. And like, yo, why the light bill on Uncle such and such? Man, he died 10 years ago.
Exactly.
But that brings us back to what I'm saying, man. And we're not taught certain things, like you said. I think what we need to do is understand that from now on, the generation coming down, this generation, the next generation, when we're having these children, we need to do more than just buy them PlayStation. We need to do more than just like buy them Xbox. We need to set them up bank accounts. We need to get them debit cards. We need to learn how to flip stock, flip crypto, and I give my sons lessons all the time on crypto, on stock, and things like that, just to try to prepare them. I give them lessons on credit. I give them lessons on money, on how you can put this money here, you can earn interest, you can save this instead of doing that, buy that, and I started them young. My oldest son, I put him in finance classes at one point after school. I was like, all right, you could do this, you could do that. We put him in finance classes, and he was every day after school from like 3 to like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I put him in Microsoft programs over summertime because it's more to I think playing sports is great. I think it's a great thing for young black boys to play sports. But when that kid turned 18 and he graduated, he don't get a scholarship. When he graduated college and he was coming off the bench, he don't make it to the NFL or the NBA. Now that's gotta be heartbreaking. What does it fall on? You know what I mean? I'm glad we have. I remember years ago while I was in college. My sister remember this. Remember when I went up to Winston-Salem and I was working for that company, the vacuum cleaner company? Boom. I met a dude that used to play for the Giants. I'm not gonna say the homie name, but he used to play for the Giants. He got a really bad injury. And the first time I met dude, we had like a long hour and a half, just kicked it, conversation. He got hurt so bad. It happened when he fell into his free agency section of the contract. And basically his spine was hurt so bad, if he took another fatal hit, he would be paralyzed for the rest of his life, right? So he just had a son. He played a few more games and his agent pulled him. His agent was like, I'm not letting you go out like that. So he had to walk away from the NFL. He played high school football, college football, pretty much all his life, right? He said he hit a point he did not know what to do. Didn't know what to do. So I wanted to ask him, well, what did you get a degree? I didn't want to go that deep into it.
Most of them don't.
So he said he was at a point, he was down to his last set of money. He found a company where he was doing so good with the company, he had his own branch, own area, all of that. And that actually was able to keep him afloat and provide for his family and take, his finances to a whole nother level. Not everybody's lucky to have that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So to anybody listening, if you have kids or if you are younger and you're playing sports in school or whatever, set yourself up for a win outside of sports, because sports is not guaranteed, man.
Exactly.
Especially now in the pandemic.
You gotta realize it's like basketball's like 1%. because it's only like 15 players.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think it's either 1 to 6%. Football might be a little bit because it's more players. But I mean, you have to set yourself up for stuff, but kind of going to the left a little bit. I get mad when people say that they should finish their degree. Finish school and the heck with the money.
You can go to school online. You better take that contract. Exactly. You better take that contract, man.
That goes into racism. Because if you think about this, you have tennis. They don't have to graduate college.
I didn't know that.
No.
Wow.
Baseball, they don't have to graduate, right? Hockey, they don't have to graduate.
Didn't know that.
Who's the majority of people that play those sports?
White people.
Caucasians. You got basketball, 95-97% black. Football, 95. What do they have to do? They have to go to college.
Yeah, go to college. Remember before, with football, you had to go to college, but you didn't have to do the minimum of 2 years.
No, it was
basketball. My fault. It was football. You had to go. Basketball, you was able to go straight out of high school. After LeBron James, they stopped that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So, and it's because let's get back to America. Let me tell people on your podcast before they bash me. I was in the Marine Corps. I fought for my country so I can speak about what I want to because I have that right. But America's racist. If you look at it, like I said, how are you going to tell the two black sports that you have to get some type of degree? Well, all these other white sports, it's not. If you listen to it when they debate it, they never talk about it.
Nah.
Because they leave us in the dark. But here's the thing. Then they also say, now in college, majority black, right? We're giving them an education we shouldn't have to pay them. But you're making billions of dollars off the name of their back.
I was saying that for years. Aren't they trying to change that now? Or did they recently change it?
They're trying to. But here's my thing. If you don't want to pay them while they're in school because it's not a profession, how about each year that they play, you give them $50,000?
Something.
So when they leave school, they have something. If they don't make it to the NFL, at least they got 100 G's.
Exactly.
Or something like it. It doesn't have to be no astronomical number.
Nah.
But they can do that.
And it's not fair, man, to pull it. I worked when I was in high school. I worked when I was in college. I worked. I played a little bit of football in high school, but it wasn't something that I wanted to make a career. It wasn't my passion. Physically, I could have did it, but I had this fear of me actually going to college and playing and going to the NFL and playing and really getting hurt.
Right.
I had this big fear of that, and a friend of mine caught a concussion. One time, and we were all supposed to take like a group trip out of town, and he couldn't go because he was in the hospital. You know what I mean? So at a certain point, I was like, this shit is kind of not worth it.
Kind of traumatized.
But you know, I had like a small scholarship for college. I had the music and stuff I was working on. I knew what my passion was, and I was fully aware I was gonna have to work harder to get to it because I felt like if I would have did football, all I had to do was show up, run, catch a football, bam, I would have been good. So I was aware of the challenge. But one thing I've always noticed, right? I used to buy the college like the Coach K basketball games. I used to buy the college games. These kids are on video games. Their jerseys are being sold. They're on television. They're getting endorsed for different things. And these colleges are just pocketing the money. The franchises are pocketing.
Did you know they'll get in trouble if they sign an autograph and then charge you for it.
Really? Yeah. I didn't know that.
They'll get kicked off. They get in trouble. They'll get kicked off the team or kicked out of school.
Wow.
Because they made money off of their name.
Wow. Yeah. I went to the Garden one time and I saw Iverson play when he was with Georgetown.
Right.
And I remember I was trying to get his autograph and Coach Johnson shut that down because they lost. I was like, oh, they go, yeah, boom, boom. Nah. And I remember one time I went to the Garden and I was a big St. John's fan. Yeah. So I used to watch Felipe Lopez play, George Luke and them play and stuff like that. Had their autographs and things like that. And I think Felipe Lopez actually went to the NBA for a while, but nothing really happened.
Right.
But that's got to be heartbreaking. You played in stadiums like the Garden. You played in the Staples Center. Then you go back to your dorm room, and then a year later you just regular now. Like there's not. It's like, all right, well then you get out. You know what I'm saying?
But you gotta understand, like me being in the sports world as well. When you in high school, like you said, you can run and catch a ball.
Yeah.
You start a team. You the man.
Yep.
You the man in your neighborhood, right?
You the man
in your neighborhood.
Man, dog.
Now you get the scholarship. Now you go to college. People don't realize there's 100-something people on a football team, on a college football team. But everybody on that football team was what? In high school?
Yes.
The man. So it gets harder.
Just mentally, that's got to be like kind of crushing. Like you was the man a few months ago. Like this in April, May, you was the man. Now in September, you just regular.
You're regular.
You're rookie.
You got to fight to be the man over 100. Because everybody, especially down south.
Yes.
You know, and it's great because we love sport. We love sports.
It's a culture, man.
We love it. So you the man, but then you go to University of North Carolina on a basketball scholarship. You might not even see the court.
You not.
You got a cat from Brooklyn that was the man of Brooklyn. And his game was a little bit better than yours. Now you nobody.
Yep.
So, but your name, they still got your likeness on PlayStation. So why can't you get compensated for that? So when you don't make the NBA, like I said, it might be 100,000, 200,000, but it's something in your pocket.
You know what they used to do on the college games? I remember we would buy like the NCAA basketball games, and when it was they would pass the ball to that player. It wasn't like the NBA games. You wouldn't see his name on it, but you would see his jersey, and it would look like him. You know what I'm saying? It was the same skin tone and stuff, same height.
That's what they
did.
So they would have to.
Yes, and to me, I think that's one of the most crooked things they've ever done. It's like my thing is, what did y'all do with that money? Where's that money at?
The NCAA is crooked, man.
And of course it is.
If you think about football, okay, Michigan holds 100,000. Their stadium holds like 100,000 people, right?
And I used to wear the jerseys and all that back in the day.
And think of it just off ticket sales.
That's crazy.
100,000 people say the cheapest, if just hypothetically, each ticket costs $20. Look at the bank of that, and you know $20 is that's not realistic.
Yeah,
for
that's
each
not
ticket. Them tickets is like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So they offer one Saturday. Think about how much money they bringing in.
Yo, and think about this too, the fact that it's a culture and they're not just selling tickets. You get there, they're gonna buy soda, they're gonna buy chips, they're gonna buy the little, what's the big hands with the finger?
You got parking.
All the parking. Oh my God, parking alone might have been like $30.
And you can't get the kids nothing.
Nah, man.
You know that most athletes in college are starving because they can't afford to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You've been to college, they can't get nothing to eat. They can't work during the school during the season. Because every practice game. Yeah.
That's bad, man. And I just really, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it changed, but I hope it changed because they deserve better. They deserve better, man. And I've been saying this for years, man. And just buying the Nintendo games, the PlayStation games. And I always looked at, because I always looked at things different. And I told myself, I say, yo, I'd walk off the field if I'm sitting there starving because I ain't eat all day. You got me in this random city
they feed them
with 100,000 people.
Oh, they gonna feed them. But look, you 300-pound lineman, right?
You come on, right?
It's 11 o'clock. Your stomach is growling.
But you gotta have
you gotta wait till the next morning to go when they feed you.
That's horrible, man. That's horrible, man. You know, okay, so to change narratives real quick before we end the show, there's a lot of people listening, right? You have a lot of projects coming up right now. Let's on the film side of things, can you give people like a quick overview of what they can expect coming from you soon?
Well, gotta talk to my manager, but we just completed. I'm not used to saying that.
Because you're usually the guy behind it, you used to be in the movement and shaker, man.
Yeah,
you know?
But I've completed two films already. Black Widow, The Rise of BDD. The Rise of BDD, we're gonna have to reshoot that. But we had Black Widows, which was in the movie theaters. Now we have Mama's Baby Boy. And as a writer and director, that's my favorite movie.
You're like Tyler Perry out here. Like you're writing and directing and producing everything.
I'm not living in my car yet though.
No. You don't want to get there. Like, you don't want to get there. Like hopefully you can skip that phase.
Man, if it takes me to the top, I'll sleep in that thing.
So you know what though? But let me ask you this: with the fact that you have to do everything, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword.
I mean, I've been so depressed at times because I'm by myself. You know, but the reward is like planting that flower.
Yes.
If you did it all yourself, you got your hands dirty, you got your knees dirty, you dug the dirt. When it blossoms, that's your baby.
Put it like this, right? They say God made the heavens and the earth in 7 days, right? So I feel like he did everything Monday through Saturday and he kicked it on Sunday and watched football. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You gotta look at, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I tell people all the time, I told my sons, I said, if God could put all this together, you can go to school and do your homework. You can do this, you can be responsible. You know what I mean? Because, you know, not to get like biblical and religious on it, but I feel like we were put here to create and you're creating. You know what I mean? Do you ever get like discouraged and say, you know what? I'm gonna do something else in life. Let me just walk away. Because it seems like it would be easier to walk away.
Right, but let's go back to what I said. You right there, you quit right before you blow.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's been times my wife is the only reason I'm still doing what I've been doing.
That's great. That's great.
You got to realize where I've come from. Interviewing Michael Jackson's father.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Hip hop celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
To internet radio, to television, now to movies, all by myself. So
yes.
I got dark days.
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized, getting biblical,
mm-hmm.
you got to be careful what you ask God for.
You're right.
You got to be ready for it.
Yeah, you are.
Because
you don't want to ask too much too. Like I'd be scared to like ask for too much. So I'll pray and be like, you got me. Yeah. I don't want to like go overboard. You know
with me, it got overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been plenty of times, man, I ain't doing this stuff. It's been times I really was like, no, but my wife's like,
mm-hmm.
but I asked for it.
Yes.
So who am I when I ask for something
mm-hmm.
for me to quit?
Yeah.
I mean, and really, I'm not aspiring to knock it out the park, be the next Tyler Perry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aspiring to get a movie out.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm aspiring to get my actors exposure.
Yes.
And I have actors that's been on television. I've had actors that's been in movies.
You put on for a lot of people, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, on the real,
yeah.
It's not about money to me. For me, it's about getting them exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had people that's blown and then said, the hell with me.
Oh, I've had that happen too.
But you know what though? It's good because I can look at it and be like, yo, you know, I had something to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not in it for the money.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the money would be, I got to pay for my watch.
Fact, yeah, that's a nice watch, right? You don't want to steal no more. You know what
I want to stop stealing. But that's not really what motivates me. I would be lying if I said it was. Money,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have a nice family, I have nice cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really love doing it for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's great, man, that you look at it like that, because a lot of people, they get into it just for the money. And I feel like the people that get into it just for the money, it doesn't last for them.
Right.
Or it's like those people have a huge fall from grace, man. And then when that money's not coming in no more, that popularity's not there, they don't know how to handle it.
And plus, think about it, when they're in it for the money, they usually screw people over.
Yeah, and
you know
right? And that's building bad karma for your soul, man, when you out here screwing people over and stealing from them, man.
Can I give you a prime example?
Absolutely.
You were in my first movie, The Rise of BDD, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dude shot the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Screwed us all over.
Oh, man.
Never got the movie. Got bits and pieces. When he did give it to us, it was trash.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I started doing my own thing, first of all. But here's the karma part. He lied to the whole cast. He was sending texts to everybody, but we kept him. And they found out that he was a fraud. Not saying nobody's name.
Yeah.
Karma. He works on electric lines, on phone lines, whatever. He fell off his truck, broke both his ankles.
Oh my God.
Karma, bro.
Yeah, karma's
when
real,
you're in it
man.
for the wrong reason, anything that you do in life, karma's gonna come back.
It really does. Karma, I tell people, karma is a selective circle. It's gonna come back, but it's gonna select how hard it's gonna roundhouse you when it come back. Bruh. So if you was really going in on people, you about to get that Nate Robinson. You getting laid out.
It happened to me. On the real, it happened to me when I was in the Marine Corps. My boy got jumped. So we was in Okinawa, Japan. He got jumped. So what do? We go out there, we just jump on some random people. I mean, hurt him pretty bad. Broke his eye socket, cracked his skull, all that. Forward circle, the rise of BDD. I'm at the bar, I'm tipsy. I start talking junk to somebody, I get shot in my head or my stomach and stomped. And I look at it like karma. He came back to get me. Came back to get me.
It's a blessing that not only are you still alive, but it's a blessing that you recognize why it happened. Because some people, they'll do shit and they're like, why this happened to me? But you don't remember 10 years ago when you know what I'm saying?
Oh boy,
yeah, man. There's been times in my life I've been ready to jump off the mountain. As my mother used to say when she was alive, oh, you ready to jump off the mountain today, huh? I was ready to wild the fuck out, but sometimes you gotta really think and be like, you know what? If I do this, this is gonna come with a consequence later on from some random, and you don't always want to do that. And it's great that you recognize that you're still here and you're able to talk about it so other people could recognize that too, because that example might save somebody's life after listening to this. You know what I'm saying?
I've been cut across my neck right now. I've been sliced across. Man, I had to, when I came to North Carolina, changed my, they used to call me Jigger. When I was in Philly, I was Jigger. But after I got shot and I got shot. When I moved down here, Jigger died. because he wasn't a good person. You know what I'm saying? I was out drinking, partying, chasing women, doing this and that. You know, so when I got shot and I moved to North Carolina, Jigga died.
That's great.
So none of my friends in Philly call me Jigga.
That's great. That's
you know
great, man. That's great, man.
And J-Rob came by. It's a funny story. I know we run out of time. That's how I got my name, J-Rob. Y'all ask me. Tell you how cool I am.
How you got the name J-Rob, man?
I'm so damn old, right? I couldn't come up with nothing cool. So I took the first letter of my first name and then the first 3 letters of my last name.
But it worked out, man.
J-Rob, dog, that is.
Listen, J-Rob is more family friendly than Jigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Plus, there's too many Jiggas out there.
Yeah, too many.
But I didn't. They gave me that name. They were too dumb to say John, I guess. I don't know.
I think John sounded too regular. Like,